To follow that, the poem doesn't mention cunt. In fact, it's all about how people don't mention cunt. If I may. Is from the Southwark Mysteries, which honours the female part, of course, in many forms, and mentions cunt in Grope Cunt Lane, which was in the city. But of course, it was a rough prostitute street, and that shows how cunt for centuries has been associated with sort of violence rather than with nurture and love. But this poem was inspired by what's now the O2, but was 10 years ago the Dome, the Millennium Dome, over there behind the skyscrapers. And remember, they built it, they didn't know what to put in it.
It's the clitoris.
And they put a body zone in there, but they couldn't decide the body zone should have a part. And although she was female and sitting rather like this, she was sort of not only blocked here, but when I visited the Dome, they'd put all the rubbish bins there, and that made me so sad, and especially because you could see that you could have done a journey with a bit more imagination and actually been reborn at the end of your journey.
But now, we're ready for that now, are we not?
Exactly.
Yes. We're ready for that now.
Exactly.
It wouldn't happen like that now. We have moved, we've evolved.
Yes. And I was very impressed.
Opened our hearts and our cunts.
Well, and after the first Cunny Carnival, of course, it had a huge effect on the BBC. Some of all their presenters were falling over each other to use the word. Yes. That's brilliant. So this is the long may it continue. And this is the poem. It's called A Song of Innocence, because this is an innocence way of looking at it.
Is this anything to do with Dear William Blake?
It came to me, yes.
Is this anything to do with Dear William Blake?
Well, I'm sure Dear William had his part in it.
Yes.
Hello, welcome.
As it were,
As it were. We're just putting the part back in.
You're welcome to join us.
Do come along.
A Song of Innocence. There's a little private problem, not so very far from home, with a little plastic body in a little plastic dome. For it hasn't got a heart, and it hasn't got a soul, and it hasn't got a part, and it hasn't got a hole. And how shall we yet live? How shall we be reborn until we first forgive that part whereof each one of us is torn?
We have it again.
To the mother. Do you want it again?
Again,
Just to get the full
To get the full flavour.
out of it.
All right.
You can't rush these things.
Warm to okay. Song of Innocence. There's a little private problem, not so very far from home, with a little plastic body in a little plastic dome. For it hasn't got a heart, and it hasn't got a soul, and it hasn't got a part, and it hasn't got a whole. And how shall we yet live? How shall we be reborn until we first forgive that part whereof each one of us is torn?
the ways that we have been so misled by our beautiful gift of sexuality. And I've been asking, does anyone have any ideas? I've been asking John and people, why is it the church has not somehow helped us through into sensing the beauty and the wonder of the cunt? Why have we become so ashamed?
I can explain it to you. It'll take like 5 minutes.
The short answer is because we let it.
The natural child emerging from the womb has been living with empathy with mother. They're empathetically connected, they know each other, they speak to each other, they flow with one another. And the natural experience for the child being born, who's fully conscious, the child, the baby in this labor, the fully conscious experience is a learning experience that learns very, very fast, and where the empathy of, or the neurology and the physiology of empathy as a separate being is written during the course of birth and in what happens immediately after. In a traumatized community, even in the indigenous community, if they're traumatized and they can't, and there's some disruption to that birth process, what happens is that the lack of empathy gets born into that next generation. If they don't resolve it, it gets born into the next generation, and so it flows. That lack of empathy leads to a loss of connection, which brings fear, which brings the desire to control others, to mask the fear. It becomes codified in this society as a codification of that process. So the way back is to recognize the innate, empathetic nature of the natural child in all of us, and to start living with that at the center of our lives. Nurturance fundamentally is what nature does. If you look in nature, everything that nature does just builds more fecundity, more life, wherever it is. So there is a core biological function of all living things, and that is to nurture more life for all life by being oneself. Not by being anything else, but by being one's true self. And so there's the lies of evolution, the lies of progression, the lies of linear thought, the lies of the church, and all the hierarchical religions are designed to thwart the intelligence of the natural child coming out. That's my take on it. And I want countries not to be count, C-O-U-N-T, which is money, but country, a place that nurtures people who are in it.
Yeah, and I think when you said that, my poem last week, I said it's a country in itself. So yeah.
Yeah, this land is for nurturing people. And we're here to nurture each other. That's the purpose of human life. There is no other purpose. Who cares what happens after this? Who cares what happens when we're dead? Or it doesn't matter. What matters is what we're doing right now. That will take care of itself when we're dead. Right now we're here to nurture each other. To be nurtured by being ourselves, not by being anything else. There's no need to evolve. Does a tree need to evolve? Does an elephant need to evolve? I don't think so. It's a joke.
And that snowdrop that wanted to come up here was a symbol of that amazing energy just coming out of the cold earth, but being called by this fertility, calling, and there's this delicate little snowdrops just opening up and saying, here we are. And here we are. We're delicate and they're powerful, just like the snowdrops.
Yes.
And our children.
All our children.
Children within ourselves, and the mother and father within ourselves, and within the people around us.
They're not really, I can't say it after all this training, related.
Deep breath, fellow. Project.
This is just contemplation of many different
I'll pass
memories.
the snowdrop around while you're reading, so just...
The store of memories grows. The squirrel is apparent amongst this store of memories, storing them. Peace, O ye squirrel! For, like a mild dose of flu, a flighty butterfly, the memories will disappear quickly, withering into dust, or eaten by some unseen mouth. And that's about the fragility of memories. We think we'll remember forever, and how they've got their own processes. We can't really say, I'm going to make sure I remember this for the rest of my life, because there'll come a point in your consciousness where you won't, and you have to remind yourself to remember. So is anything really up there, or are we just reminding ourselves? So that's what the essence of that poem was
People, we are
about.
remembering
And-
right now, remembering to reconnect ourselves.
Yes.
That's what this is about. At this moment, we're gathered around with the Cuntalini Serpent
glad that was
celebrating us. We're being celebrated by this crazy, chaotic, colourful madness that, we are Cuntalini Serpent ourselves, expressed in human form.
Yes.
And that is within us, this power.
Carry me when I am weary. Help me remember which way is home. Show me the next stage of my journey. Carry me home. Carry me home. I am here go and fly, fly away, fly home. Carry me when I am weary, help me remember which way is home. Show me the next stage of my journey. Carry me home. Carry me home.
Beautiful, really
Oh,
lovely
can we have a
voice.
round of applause for all of us? For all of us.
Gorgeous voice.
And a round of applause for those who write the songs when we can't find the words ourselves.
Well, could somebody one day make a mermaid with a cunt?
Yes. That begs the question how they are born.
Yeah, very much indeed.
But fish reproduce, fish have cunts.
Indeed, they do.
So she has a cunt, we just can't see it.
Yeah, that's right. It's
All good.
discreet.
It's off the scale, isn't it?
It's like swimmers, you know, for the streamlining.
Yes.
So if the fingers don't give up, I'll sing you a song of the Outcast Goddess, and I'd love it if you join in on the chorus, which is so simple. Gather round, I will tell you a story. Once upon a time out of mind, our story begins. The heavenly twins plant visions in the eyes of the blind, and the fish in the delta are jumping. The candles burn in the shrine, and sister and brother look one in the other one's eyes, in love with the light that shines, singing hey ya ya, 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 hey ya ya. And then the king and the priest did conspire to say that their love was a sin. They took the brother and flayed him alive to bind their holy books with his skin. But when they came for the sister, they found she had already taken flight. Disguised as a beggar, the outcast goddess walks alone in the starry night, singing hey ya ya, 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 hey ya ya. Now sister, she's gone into hiding. She heeded her own call of the wild. Down in the swamp where the bulrushes grow, she gave birth to the heavenly child. But there are no fish in the river, for a silence is fallen on the land. Through the cities of the earth goes the outcast goddess, leading the child by the hand, singing hey ya ya, 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 hey ya ya. Now she's gone down to the underworld, where the hungry ghosts whimper and wail, and to pass through each of the 7 gates, she gives a gatekeeper one of her veils, until she stand naked in the innermost chamber, sees a brother laid out on the bed, and speaks a magic word that I may not repeat, and raises him up from the dead, singing hey ya ya, 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 hey ya ya. Now we live in the age beyond reason. All we got left is the rhyme. The outcast goddess and her long-lost tribe return at the end of time. here and now at liberty, we dance to a different tune. Tonight John Crow dance in Crossbones' yard with a goose by the light of the moon. Sing it, hey ya ya, 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 hey ya ya. Well, the outcast goddess.
The outcast goddess, come back! We love you, we need you!
May we be
Very
free
diverse word.
May we be free to love and feel and fuck as we choose.
Yes, and why not?
And why not?
And as others choose to fucking feel and fly.
Oh.
And acknowledge ourselves as creatures of the earth, creatures of the sun. Where would we be without the earth and the sun? We are pagans.
Rainbow
Can be
people.
no other way.
Yes.
And you know, thank you very much, all the churches and all the guidance that you've given us. But can you please more deeply acknowledge that we come from the earth, from the moon and the sun, the blessed moon.
And if you can't, just get the fuck out of our way.
Can I get everyone around this side to take a group photo?
Yes.
A group photo.
Around this side for a group.
Got it.
Well to see. It's a lovely word, cunt. Bring it back. Don't ban it. It's for real.
Bring it back. Bring it back to me.
Embrace it.
Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it. Bring it. Bring it back to me.